Let's go over the future of the Star Wars franchise when it comes to the new Star Wars trilogy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, after Episode 9, there are a handful of projects that are being developed by both Disney and Lucasfilm. Not only do we have the Clone Wars Season 7, but we also have the live-action TV series, Star Wars The Mandalorian by Jon Favreau. And aside from that, we have the fourth Star Wars trilogy by the Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So, looking at everything that has been happening with the fourth Star Wars trilogy, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are treating these series of films as a priority over Rian Johnson's trilogy, since he is actually busy with the film that will feature Daniel Craig called Knives Out. It's a murder, thriller, mystery type of movie that Rian is working on. So, Rian Johnson's trilogy, if it even does actually happen, it's not going to be out for a very long time. But looking at the new Star Wars trilogy, the fourth trilogy coming after the sequel trilogy, alright, what's really interesting is that Disney and Lucasfilm apparently are planning to choose their first set location for a new Star Wars movie, which is said to be the one to kickstart the new trilogy. Early development has all eyes on Prague, the capital city of the Czech Republic. Also, Disney and Lucasfilm will only be choosing experienced directors for the fourth trilogy, while David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are the writers and producers. Now, what's really interesting is that it's said that both Daniel Weiss and David Benioff will have a hand in choosing directors as well. It's said that each film of this trilogy will be directed by a different person. However, the whole trilogy will be mapped out from the start. So, I want to go over the last piece, because this is something that I think is great news. Having a whole entire trilogy mapped out from the very beginning is something very smart by Disney and Lucasfilm. It's an obvious change from what they, were doing with the sequel trilogy and how they handled it, where each and every film was kind of like the director and writer just doing their own thing and kind of like doing things on the fly, where now, with this new series, these new set of Star Wars films by the creators of Game of Thrones, everything will be mapped out from the start, and they will just essentially be picking their directors with Disney and Lucasfilm on who should direct each and every Star Wars movie in this new Star Wars trilogy. So, with that being said, Prague, alright, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this looks like an old Republic destination. Now, there's a lot of hints out there that we could very well be going over to the old Republic. One of the biggest hints, I think, is that it was hinted in The Last Jedi visual dictionary, where it touched on Luke Skywalker's red kyber crystal necklace, how it belonged to a Jedi Crusader, and the Jedi Crusaders were a part of the Old Republic. They were actually from that time period. And, alright, what's really interesting, all the more so, is that they come from the Game of Thrones series. If you look at the Old Republic, it is kind of like, a medieval times of Star Wars, so I kind of like that. Now, moving on from this, Emilia Clarke, not too long ago, a couple of months ago, she spoke to Variety. Alright, I believe this is just around when Solo came out, or after Solo came out. She actually stated, "I think it's just going to be Star Wars on acid. It will be amazing, I can't wait." So a lot of things are going on with this new Star Wars series that will be actually, all written and produced by the creators of Game of Thrones, and then they're essentially going to have their own ways of picking directors that will actually direct each and every Star Wars movie in the fourth trilogy. So I think that Rian Johnson's trilogy, I don't know, guys, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. That's just my point of view. And if it does, I don't know how it'll do. I mean, I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with The Last Jedi, so I think it's a gamble by Disney to even have him still working on this thing, in which he is, by the way. But like I said before, for now, he's going to be busy for a good year and change, working on that movie Knives Out. So, looking at everything else here, this new trilogy, I am just crossing my fingers that it's going to be the Old Republic era. This is something that a lot of hardcore fans out there are begging for. Not only would it be great for the casual fans who aren't as aware of that time period in Star Wars, it would be great because it would be able to boost the familiarity of that time period in Star Wars and make it more mainstream, more known, right? Something that I think should be known. There's a lot to tell there. There's a lot of connections to everything that we have seen so far, so they could really pull it off, you know, with all of our favorite Darths from the Old Republic era. I mean, the more Darths, the better, but keep it on a certain limit, you know what I mean? So far, we got Darth Plagueis, Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, you know, the whole 9 yards. We got quite a number of them right now. Darth Tyrannus, we got Darth Atreus, Darth Momin, well, not Darth Momin, Lord Momin. But anyways, guys, I would love to hear what you have to say about this new 4th trilogy. To me, honestly, I'm very excited that not only will they only be choosing experienced directors for these new set of Star Wars movies, I also think that it's great that they're actually treating this as a priority over Rian Johnson's trilogy. The fact that they're looking at Prague, again, I think it's a little hint that we are going to the Old Republic. If you look at the Old Republic video game, you can kind of see how it like some of the architecture designs, you know, if you look at the buildings and all that, it kind of does mimic that part of the world here on Earth. So I'm just crossing my fingers, guys, like I said before, that they visit that part of the Star Wars, you know, time period. I think that's something that should definitely be explored. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.